Hey everybody, this is Tech Time. I'm Chad Sadler, and today we're going to be looking at how to create a mobile hotspot. So what is a mobile hotspot? Mobile hotspot is essentially, it's otherwise known as tethering. Basically what it does is if you're in a spot where you can't get Wi-Fi access essentially and you get cell phone service, you can actually use the data from your cell phone to power your other devices that don't have that cellular signal. So essentially there's two ways, actually three ways of doing this. There's what's called Wi-Fi tethering, USB tethering, and Bluetooth tethering. The first two are the more popular ones. Bluetooth doesn't get used too much because it does have a lot of interference issues and the range isn't very good, as well as the Wi-Fi ones. The Wi-Fi one's probably the simplest. USB one's really nice if you want to conserve some battery life. But essentially what it's doing is it's sharing your cell phone data that you pay for on a monthly basis to your other devices. So if you don't know how much data you get per month, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and talk to your cell phone carrier, figure out how much you have on a monthly allowance before you start using your data, because it does get very expensive if you go over your allotted limit for the month. Android has data usage, a data usage setting built in. So if you go into your settings, go into data usage, you can actually set for it to warn you at a certain level and then to 100% just stop at another level. On the iPhone, not as great of options. You generally have to pay or get some sort of application to do this for you. So I used one called Data Usage. I believe it was 99 cents. And essentially, it did everything that the data usage setting for Android does, and probably a little bit more. Essentially, it'll tell you exactly when you need to reset its counter, and that's generally every month at a certain time, depending on when your billing date is. Anyhow, so I'm going to show you how to do it on an iPhone and on the Android operating system. So we're going to cover a little bit of both here. Yeah, so let's get into things. We're going to jump over to other view here so you can see a little bit easier. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is on my Galaxy Note 2, we're going to go ahead and set up a Wi-Fi hotspot. So I'm just going to go into settings. What we're going to do is we're going to go into more settings down here, and then we're going to go to see that tethering and portable hotspot. I'll get a little bit of a zoom on that. Tethering and portable hotspot. So I'm going to click on that. When I do, it basically shows up, and all I need to do is toggle it on. It's pretty straightforward. It's going to say, attention, enabling Wi-Fi hotspot will turn off your Wi-Fi. Makes sense. It's using the Wi-Fi module in the phone to basically broadcast the cellular data to my other devices. So that's how it all works. I'm just going to click OK. Now it says enabling. And essentially we can go a little further. If you are doing a USB tether, you actually go no further. When you plug in a cable, this is going to ungray out, and I can now check it, and basically it's going to use the USB as the data connection to the computer. Again, the pros to this are that basically your device is charging at the same time. Wi-Fi hotspot does take up a lot of battery usage, so keep that in mind, but that will actually let your phone charge at the same time, so it'll probably even out. It'll probably stay about similar battery life. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot of upsides to USB tethering, other than obviously if you are in, say, an area where Wi-Fi is very interfered with, USB obviously is going to bypass that. So again, to go a little further, if you are going to use the Wi-Fi, we're going to jump inside of here. So this looks a little confusing, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the bottom right and click Configure. So I've already configured this, but you can follow along with me. What we're going to do is, first you're going to type in the network SSID. So that's the name that you're going to look for on your other devices when you open up the Wi-Fi settings. I have mine just set to Galaxy Note 2, so it's plain and simple. I know exactly what I'm connecting to. Next up, it's going to ask you if you'd like to password protect your network. I would highly suggest doing that because you don't want someone in a Starbucks, or I guess there's free Wi-Fi in a Starbucks, anywhere else, you don't want someone else taking your data and using it for themselves. So we're going to use WPA2. The reason for this is it's the latest in security for Wi-Fi. The only reason you should have to use WPA1 is if you have a device that you're trying to connect that is older than 2006. So if you have something that's a little older and it's not connecting, that might be why. Next, I have it checked so you can show password, so you can just see exactly what my password is. Other than that, that's pretty much it. The show advanced option is really not necessary to go through. It just basically allows you to set a channel that you'd like to broadcast up at, but for most of us, we don't need to know what that means. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now it's going to be setting up my settings. It does say there you can only have 10 devices tethered to this device. Obviously, you'll probably have nowhere near that, but it says right there, plain and simple, turn on Wi-Fi on another device, find this network name, which is Galaxy Note 2, and then connect to it by typing in that password. That's pretty much all there is to it. Now, the only other options we have here are I can actually set it to only let devices that I allow connect to this. And when I do this, to be honest with you, I don't see a real reason to do this, because it makes you type in the name of the device and the MAC address. The MAC address is basically the physical address of the device that never changes. Again, I don't see the need for this, as you will have a password on the network, so no one without the password can connect anyhow. So just leave it on allow all devices, and you'll have the least amount of complications, I promise you. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Like I said, allowed devices, that's only if you set that setting that we had before. And as you can see, we can set up the stuff I was talking about. Again, I do not recommend it. That's basically it. So that's how you do it on an Android device. I'm just going to show you on my tablet that it is indeed broadcasting this network ID. So I'm just going to jump in here. And as you can see, the top one is my home connection, and the bottom one, Galaxy Note 2, we get it slightly in focus, it says, and voila, my neighbor's connection shows up as well. Galaxy Note 2 is the one we're looking at, though. Alright, so moving on now to the iPhone. I'm just going to turn these off. And now, it's very straightforward on the iPhone as well. Actually, you get less. Oh no, everybody knows my password now. That's okay. I'm fine with that. I'll change it. Okay, so I'm actually already in the setting. So we're just going to go back to the home screen. I'll hold this a little closer for you guys. I'm going to jump into settings. I'm going to go to personal hotspot. That's not personal hotspot. Personal hotspot. And as you can see, it's already on. I'm just going to show you can toggle it on and off. Obviously not that big of a difference. I'm going to click on. Now discoverable. Okay, so as you can see, it's basically just going to use my iPhone's name. See, now discoverable. Look for the name Chad's iPhone. And essentially, you can set the password right underneath. Just needs to be the same 8 characters. The only downside to the iPhone is that actually you cannot set it to have no password. So keep that in mind. And it uses WPA2 whether you like it or not. So if you have an older device, older than 2006, like I was saying before, probably won't work, but hopefully we're all using a little bit newer devices. That's literally, that's how you do it. There's nothing more to it. As you can see on the tablet, again, you can see Chad's iPhone shows up secured with WPA2. Another cool thing that you can do is once I actually sign into one of these, it'll actually prompt me to remember and connect when it's available. So that makes it very easy for you. If you already have the information there, you can basically just log into your stuff already. So very straightforward, very easy, and very handy. I do this all the time. I have 6 gigs of data on my Samsung phone on Rogers, so I'm constantly tethering my laptop, my tablet to my phone. Your cell phone carrier actually has options available for when you buy a device. Say I bought a tablet that includes cellular data, well, it doesn't include it, but is capable of doing it. They actually will charge you about $10 a month extra. You don't gain any data from this generally, just to use this device on their network with a SIM card. But in my opinion, I think that's pretty useless. I think that buying a device without the cellular data is not a bad thing, because you can always just tether it to your device. Other than that, yeah, let me know if you have any questions, if you liked it, if you have any walkthroughs you'd like me to take you through, let me know. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Check out my website at chad-sadler.squarespace.com. I promise that domain is going to change soon, but bear with me for now. And yeah, I'll see you guys again shortly. Hope you guys have a great new year. And yeah, see you later.